Good. Shanti, with the doors. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, everybody, for coming back together. Our theme today is wellness in the workplace, and very pleased now to introduce our president of FedCap Canada, Grant Collins, who will be introducing our keynote speaker. So please join me in welcoming Grant Collins to the stage.
Hello, everybody. So I'm going to do the introduction. I understand we have some people online, including most of the team. Get my placements. Okay. Judy Croon, Canada's Keynote humorist, is a comedian, motivational speaker, including TED Talks, and author who has worked with many celebrities, including Cleese, Jon Stewart, and Joan Rivers. She's appeared on NBC, CBS, CTV, and Comedy Central. Judy, co-author From the Stage to the Page, Life Lessons from Four Funny Ladies, draws from comedy and coaching experience to entertain, inform, and inspire in a dynamic presentation entitled Relieving Work-Related Stress with Humor, in keeping with our theme for today, which is wellness in the workplace. Judy is the creator and host of Laughlines and Stand Up for the Girls, which have both helped raise over $650,000 for breast cancer research. Also, Judy can be heard every day at 5 p.m. on LTD Radio with her show called The Power of Positive. Please join me with a warm welcome to the stage, Judy Croon.
Thank you for that lovely intro. How are you? How is everyone doing? Wonderful. This is excellent. Hello to everybody online as well. This is fantastic. I'm very happy to be here at the Americana. Grant, thank you for that lovely intro. Yes, you are in great hands this afternoon. Grant was nice enough to do my intro. Just to give you a tiny bit more of background so that you know you're in good hands. Yes, I've been very lucky in my career. I have been able to do all of the comedy networks in Canada, Comedy Now, Comics, all the comedy shows in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, on A&E, CBS, NBC. I've played all the cruise ships. I've done morning radio in Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, did the news for years. I was also on Sirius XM. How many people have heard of me before? Nobody. Excellent. Woo! Yes, excellent. Shane, fantastic. Don't you love Canadian show business? Woo! It's better than the witness protection program, isn't it? I did the news, the sports, the weather for years. So if you like me this afternoon, my name is Judy Croon. If you don't, my name is Sandy Ronaldo. So just keep that in mind. Yes, I did the news for years. Doing the news in Toronto, by the way, it's always about the crime. You can't trust anybody. I go to the laundromat the other day. Me and this guy, 10 machines. He decides to use the one right beside me. So I stabbed him and shanked him, took his dryer money just to be on the safe side. Lots of creepy people living in Toronto, too. We have any folks from Toronto? Lots of creepy people. I go to my hairdresser the other day. The guy's washing my hair. Finally, we get out of the shower, and hey, if I'm going to pay $115, you know what I'm talking about, people? Tough times, tough times. So this is good. I'm glad you're laughing, because when we laugh, we relax. When we relax, we learn. Researchers at Loma Linda University in California has actually shown that 1 minute of stress can weaken our immune system for 8 hours. On the other hand, 1 minute of laughter can boost our immune system for 24 hours. So you're welcome. Research at Harvard has actually shown that when we get stressed out, the gray matter in our brain actually shrinks. The gray matter is like the factory that builds the messages for the rest of our brain and our body. The white matter is like the highways that those messages travel on. But when we get stressed out, we go into the grip. We make bad decisions, or we can't make any decisions at all. We go into the grip. And sometimes I do a lot of health and safety conferences. Sometimes those bad decisions can lead to some serious accidents. But again, when we laugh, we relax. When we relax, we learn. And what we also don't realize is that when we get stressed out, when we're dealing with people at work or at home who aren't as perfect as us, we get stressed out, or something happens on our way to work. We get cut off in traffic. And 2 minutes later, we feel like we're okay, but we fired off our stress hormones. It takes so much longer for our stress levels to get back to normal. We don't even realize it. And over time, it's this constant overlapping of our adrenaline and our cortisol that can lead to heart attacks, can lead to ulcers, can lead to cancer, can lead to Alzheimer's. But again, when we laugh, we relax. When we relax, we learn. The Mayo brothers of Mayo Clinic fame said 35 years ago, half of the people in hospitals were there around the world because of stress-related incidences. This is the amount of impact that stress has on us. Now, a lot of people say, well, you know what, Jude? I don't have time to work on my happiness. I don't have time to work on the ha-ha. I don't have time to work on the hope, right? You know, FedCap Canada, I am stressed out. I'm fatigued. I'm burned out. I'm worried about hitting targets. And I get all of that, right? I mean, you guys have really important jobs. I mean, you know, just the fact that you are here, just the fact that you are as frontline staff managers, as service providers, as workplace community partners, you have very, very stressful jobs. But over 250 independent studies around the world with over 300,000 participants have shown that when we put the happiness before our success, when we put the hope before our success, when we share a joke with our coworkers, with our friends, with our family, that we actually have a greater chance of being successful. And one of the main reasons is that when we're happy, when we're hopeful, when we're laughing, when we're taking the time to step back and keep our stress levels at bay, we fire off this part of our brain that just doesn't get enough exercise. Talk about the power of possible, our right, bright, creative side. And our right, bright, creative side isn't only for singing and dancing and doing stand-up comedy, but it's also creativity that leads to innovation. Creativity and innovation are two of the most sought-after skills right now in the workplace. Why? Because it keeps us ahead of the competition. It keeps us ahead of AI, right? Our empathy, our storytelling, our ability to listen. And also, when we combine information with this right, bright, creative side, when we combine information with humor, we have a greater chance of remembering that information. So today I'd like to give you the 7 ingredients for relieving work-related stress. They are as follows. Number 1, a positive attitude. A positive attitude includes humor. I think that's so important. I put that as number 1. Number 2, perseverance. Perseverance gives us passion. Passion gives us push when everybody else drops off, as entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk says. Number 3, forgiveness. Forgiveness is huge because, as I said, when we're dealing with those people who aren't as perfect as us, we're firing off the adrenaline, we're firing off the cortisol. So many times these people have gone on with the rest of with their lives. We're literally stewing in our own chemicals. Number 4, faith, believing in something bigger than ourselves. It doesn't have to be religious. It doesn't have to be spiritual. But companies that believe in a bigger picture for their employees, companies that do wellness programs, companies that bring their employees together, right? This is what's so great about FedCap Canada. Companies that care tend to hold on to the people that work with them longer. I'll give you an example. Patagonia, fantastic company. They had a bigger picture right from the beginning. Not everybody's into, the great outdoors, but Patagonia said right from the beginning, not only did they have a great product, but they said that they were going to give a percentage of their sales to the environment, to environmental groups. In fact, their last Black Friday, there's the president from Patagonia calling me right now. Jude, you have to share our message. Yes. Talk about the power of possible. Their last Black Friday, they thought they would earmark their Black Friday to give those proceeds, all of their proceeds, to environmental groups. They thought they'd make $1 million. They made $10 million because people want to be part of something bigger. So faith is number 4. Number 5, healthy mental activity. Never before have we been inundated with so much information. Never before have we been so stressed out. Never before have we been so overwhelmed with information. But again, we have this bright, creative side that just doesn't get enough use. And I see it in my Second City students. They come to class, they're freaked out. They want to do something fun like stand-up comedy, but they're stuck in their left logical side. And I need them to stop panicking. I need to pull them back from the brink and get them to their right, bright, creative side. So when it comes to healthy mental activity, a couple of hacks that I share with my Second City students. Number 6, family and friends, the touchstones in our lives. We can't live with them, we can't live without them. And finally, number 7, healthy physical activity. Now, I hope you have a takeaway during this presentation, because if you have a takeaway, then I can add some quality, I can add hopefully some quantity, some time to your life. Hopefully, if you have a number of takeaways, then we can add some more quality, we can add some more time. And whether I add a couple of minutes or days or months or years from something that I have said today, then I think I've done my job. FedCap Canada, do I hear a Yahoo? All right, that was okay. That's not bad, but you kind of sounded like Buffalo. Let's try that one more time. FedCap Canada, do I hear a Yahoo? Yahoo! All right, excellent. All right, okay, so here we go. Number 1, a positive attitude. All right, how many people here overall consider themselves positive people? Positive people? Positive? Not bad, good. Now, some of you have your hands down. That's okay. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're a bit skeptical. Comedians tend to be skeptical people. That's okay. That makes them who they are. But consider this. According to research at the University of Utrecht in the Netherlands, positive people statistically live longer than negative people. How much longer? Up to 10 years longer. Now, how many positive people do we have in the room? Right? And look, it's not hocus pocus. It's not magic. It just makes common sense. Positive thoughts equal positive actions, equal a positive, purposeful life, equal a positive destiny, equal a positive legacy, equal a positive blueprint. The power of positive, the power of possible to the next generation. Positive thoughts equal positive actions equal a positive, purposeful life. What's the alternative? Negative words equal negative actions equal Donald Trump. Do you want to be Donald Trump? No. No, I mean, listen, I'm not a Pollyanna. Like you, I saw when he became president of the United States the first time around, and hoping that doesn't happen again. But who knows? I thought, as I was watching it, I felt like I was in an episode of American Horror Story. I thought, how did this person who looks like the love child of Carrot Top and Chucky, how could they possibly be picked to be the president of the United States? But then that's when I leaned on the words of Michelle Obama. What does Michelle Obama always say? When they go low, Exactly. We get high. And, sorry, that's Justin Trudeau. Sorry. Always getting them mixed up. When they go low, we go high. And if you need further proof of this, consider something that filmmaker Michael Moore said. Fahrenheit 9/11, Sicko, he said, yes, the inauguration of Donald Trump was shocking. But remember, he even lied about the numbers. Remember, many, many millions of people were there. That's not what happened. But the day after, there were many, many millions of people, and it was the Women's March. And it wasn't just women that marched. Men marched, kids marched, March of the Penguins came out of retirement. This is how much the world said no. And as Michael Moore says, in order for movements to grow, in order for good movements to be sustained, if we were to take a page from the Nelson Mandelas, the Mother Teresas, the Gandhis, in order for movements to grow, in order for them to be sustained, they have to be peaceful. And one of the most peaceful tools that we have in our tool belt right now that just doesn't get enough use is the power of the punchline, the power of humor. I don't know how many people still watch the news at night. The headlines, yes, they seem very frightening, more frightening than, say, 20 years ago. But here's the thing, after doing news for 15 years, I know for a fact, fear sells. There's a reason why Fox made $4.5 billion last year. But there's all sorts of small, incremental good news happening all over the world every day. But our caveman brains don't want to tune into small, incremental good news. But lots and lots of good little stuff is happening. And here's the real fact. Here's the real news about news. More and more people are actually tuning out of the news, but more and more people are tuning into shows that deliver the news, but deliver the news with a sense of humor. Right? Stephen Colbert does it. Jon Stewart does it. Canada's own Samantha Bee did it. Trevor Noah did it. Before them, they did exactly what the legends did. The Carsons, the Lettermans, the Lenos, the Jack Parrs. They all take the scary headline, they add a funny punchline, and suddenly we can handle the news. Right? We want to be informed, but we just don't want to be scared to death. So more and more people are tuning into these shows that deliver. They're taping these late night shows, watching the little spiel in the beginning. But, you take the scary headline, add the punchline, and suddenly you can handle the news. So I'll give you a quick example. You may have heard this joke before. Have you heard of the Donald Trump sandwich? Ooh, scary headline, Donald Trump. Have you heard of the Donald Trump sandwich? 2 slices of white bread, lots of bologna, Russian dressing, and a small gherkin. Have you heard of a Donald Trump sandwich? You add that punchline. You add the punchline, you take the punch out of whatever it is that you're making fun of. Author Stephen King says fear and humor are very closely related in our brain. In fact, when the caveman and the cave women were freaking out in the caves when they heard something outside, 2 seconds later, a little animal jumped by and everybody laughed. They laughed out of relief because humor is one of the tools that our brain uses to process information, to process the unknown. Until we figure out exactly what it is, we make fun. Someone always has a line. When something's really, really scary, when something's really uncomfortable, there's always somebody in the group that makes a joke. Right? It's part of our caveman brain. There was a psychologist who went to Afghanistan in 2009, and he wanted to know what made the nurses and doctors go into the trenches every day after seeing the horror show every day. And he noted how quickly there was always somebody that made a joke, that always had a quick comment, that always had some sort of dark humor. That whether they were doing it consciously or subconsciously, they were doing it to keep everybody moving forward, right? They were doing it to stop people from going into that left brain grip. When I was working at a radio station in Toronto, every year we would do a fundraiser for Sick Kids Hospital. And I remember I was chatting with these 2 parents, and they said, Judy, when our son was going through chemotherapy, And luckily, he's doing really well now. He's in remission, but there were times we were really afraid. And we don't necessarily think that we're funny people, but man, did we ever have to lean on some dark humor during those times. And we only look back on it now and realize, wow, that's what got us through the unknown, that got us through the scariness. Rest in peace, Reverend Desmond Tutu. Reverend Desmond Tutu had to do a speech in front of the Hutus and Tutsis after the Rwandan genocide. They were sitting together in an audience. He was really nervous. Someone said to him, "Why don't you open with a joke?" He said, "Well, I'm not necessarily a joke teller, but I'm a storyteller." So he went out and he started telling the story about two villages that were fighting. One group of villagers had big noses, the other group of villagers had small noses, and they were fighting about the sizes of their noses. And the people in the audience were kind of, perturbed, but then they realized he was talking about them. He was kind of making fun. And all of a sudden, they started to giggle. They started to laugh. They looked around, and they really started to laugh. So the power of humor is truly, truly amazing. We are just scraping the surface of this beautiful right brain power. In the 60s, there was a journalist, Norman Cousins, and he was diagnosed with a terrible tumor on his spine. Doctors told him to get his affairs in order, and he said, "You know what, if I'm going out like a Roman candle." Now, he wasn't very mobile, but he did get someone to bring all the movies in his life up to that point that made him laugh. And Norman Cousins said that whenever he put in a copy of the Three Stooges, he'd wake up in excruciating pain so many times at night, but he'd put in the Three Stooges, and he said 2 minutes of belly laughter could then allow him 2 hours of solid sleep. And 6 months from the date that Norman Cousins was diagnosed with that tumor, the tumor went away, and he went on to enjoy an amazing life. So the power of humor is truly amazing, an amazing superpower that we have on our right, bright, creative side. The power of possible. Now, I'm not a Pollyanna, because sometimes we need other superhero tools in our tool belt, like the attitude of gratitude. Just by saying thank you, we release all sorts of chemicals into our brain and our body. During COVID, really scary times, really unknown times. On my podcast, I was interviewing various professionals, comedians, asking them how they were getting through COVID. And I remember talking to this one gentleman, Todd Kaufman, who was a psychologist. And he had a wonderful gratitude exercise that I'd like you to try right now. If you don't mind just closing your eyes. Can I get you to close your eyes, please? And while I was chatting with him, he had a bookcase behind him. And in this bookcase, he had all of these journals. And he said, "Judy, every day I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for, but here's the trick. I can never repeat any of those things that I said I was grateful for." So I'm asking you right now, just think of 5 things that you're grateful for that you've never expressed gratitude for before. 5 things. It could be silly, it could be super small, it could be huge and you've never thought about it. Just think of 5 things that you've never expressed gratitude for before. The attitude of gratitude, incredibly important. A study that is done every year by the UN, happiest places in the world. Canada, we came in 13th this year. I think if we make a couple of trades, we can probably get back up 2 spots, but you never know. And Canada, for our size, we're relatively clean, we're relatively safe. The Netherlands is usually in the top chunk as well. The Netherlands, for some of the same reasons as Canada, although the Netherlands has the Institute of Happiness. The Netherlands takes happiness very seriously. Switzerland is usually in the top chunk as well. The Swiss attribute their happiness to being orderly and on time. Oh, what fun! But the Swiss also believe that talking about your wealth is incredibly tacky because it might create, talking about your money, because it might create envy, it might create sadness in the person that you're talking to. So they say, talk about anything else. Don't talk about, hi, what do you do for a living? Say, hi, how much do you weigh? Hi, is your husband still having an affair? Something, anything to break the ice. Just don't talk about the money. What was also really interesting about the study, too, is that there were some countries with a lot of crime, a lot of poverty, but they scored higher in the happiness department than other countries with less crime, less poverty, Indonesia, India, Mexico. And again, when you look at it, it's not a lot of hocus pocus, it kind of just makes common sense. And that is sometimes advertisers forget about poor countries. And as a result, those people in those poor countries aren't flipping through magazines all day, targeted towards them, going, you know what, I'll be happy when I buy my own island. I'll be happy when I buy my own jet. I'll be happy when I buy my own yacht. Instead, poor people are more likely to say, I'm happy to be alive. I'm grateful to be alive. And if some poor kid in Indonesia making $10 a day can find something in their life to be grateful for, who am I here in Canada to complain because I can't assemble my IKEA furniture? Like, really? Although IKEA is a little bit frustrating, I get it. How come you can always see IKEA from the highway, but you can never get to it? What is up with that? Is that like a prerequisite test or something for IKEA? In fact, I went to IKEA the other day. It took me 3 hours to assemble my bookshelf. It's supposed to be a bed. I'm sleeping on a bookshelf now. You ever go to IKEA? They give you the instructions. The instructions never have words. They just have pictures. Do you notice that? I mean, you know the instructions are complicated when the people in the pictures are arguing with each other. All right, he's yelling, she's sharpening an Allen key. You know, I can't believe that April's almost over. This year started off, I got to be honest, a little bit spooky for me. 3 weeks after Christmas, I was visited by the ghost of Christmas past, Visa. And I don't know how my bills got so high. I did all my Christmas shopping at Costco. We have any Costco shoppers in the room? We have any Costco? Don't you love Costco? Isn't it addictive? Right? It's so addictive. You go in for toilet paper, you come out with a trampoline. How does that happen? You know what it is? It's the free samples. Don't you love the free samples, right? We tell our kids not to take candies from strangers. Meanwhile, at Costco, some stranger in a hairnet and rubber gloves hands you cat food on a Triscuit. And you put it in your mouth. You want another one. Meow, this is delicious. I like when they can't cook the samples fast enough, people start to freak out. You know, they've got that wide stare in their eyes, right? You're pushing your shopping cart around, pretending you're studying something in the freezer while you're waiting. Right? Or I like the people who pretend they don't know what the sample is. You know, these people, what is that? What is that? You know, you're such a connoisseur after all. All of a sudden now you're shopping at Costco. What is that? It's peanut butter, lady, all right? It's Kraft peanut butter. It's your third one. Hit the road. I love the free samples. I like the free samples. I like the book section. I love the books, the prices, the selection, but not exactly the chapter's atmosphere, huh? The warm lighting, the classical music, the little Starbucks in the corner. You know, somehow I don't think at chapters, as you're thumbing through lessons in chemistry, there's a woman standing beside you trying on a bra over her ski jacket. I don't think so. Or the jewelry section at Costco, that's pretty swanky, huh? Excuse me, is that watch a Cartier or a Kirkland? Could you have the forklift bring it over a bit closer, please? I love Costco. I do. I love Costco. I like all those fun stores. That little French boutique, Jean Tigre. Anybody else shop at Jean Tigre? But the ultimate has to be the dollar store. Don't you love the dollar store? You ever buy $750 worth of garbage at the dollar store? But then you don't want to spend any money on the recyclable bag? All right. And some things really should cost more than $1. Don't you think? It's a little bit suspicious, like maybe the dollar store might be skirting some safety issues. Last week I bought 1,000 vitamins for $1. Granted, I don't know if vitamin G is good for me or not, and I'm losing sight in my right eye, but other than that, I'm fine. And don't you hate dollar stores that charge you more than $1? Don't you feel ripped off? Right? $1.75 for a frying pan, are you kidding me? $1.25 for earrings, excuse me, I didn't realize I was at Tiffany's. So I'm glad you're giggling. I'm glad you're smiling, because when we laugh, we relax. When we relax, we learn. And when we relax, we fire off endorphins. Endorphins are natural painkillers. When we laugh, we release serotonin. Serotonin is known as the happy hormone. Serotonin is released when we eat chocolate. Yay. Serotonin is released when we have sex. Yay. Okay, no one having sex? Okay, all right. All right. Babies have the vocal ability to laugh at 17 days old. On average, babies laugh 350 times a day. Adults, we laugh 25 times a day. I get it. It's hilarious being a baby with the eating, the pooping, the sleeping. I get it. But when did we lose 325 laughs? When did we become so self-conscious? Right? Because here's the thing. We gravitate towards people. We gravitate towards leaders who have a sense of hope, who have a sense of humor. I was interviewing on my podcast a psychiatrist who had written a book about leaders throughout history, who had motivated their followers using humor, people like Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, more recently, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama. I loved Barack Obama. I love his sense of humor, right? Self-deprecating, very chill, very clever. And I gotta be honest, I just don't think the Americans appreciated Barack Obama enough. I think if he was the Prime Minister of Canada, he would be Prime Minister for a very long time. Because he's practically Canadian, don't you think? Smart, chill, self-deprecating. Right? Remember when he was trying to socialize healthcare? They'd always bring up Canada, you know, like we're some sort of banana republic. I know we're not perfect, right? I had to get a mammogram a couple of months ago and everything worked out, but women, don't you hate getting a mammogram? Don't you feel vulnerable, right? They have to get a picture of your boob and they use a sketch artist. And well, basically, it's a vice grip, okay? And they jam you into this vice grip like they're shoving a piece of luggage onto an overhead compartment on Air Canada. At one point, I think she had like her foot on my head. Right. And then they say, don't move, don't move. You know, like you're gonna get up with the machine attached to you, drag it down the hallway for 15 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, I lived in the States. I was doing stand-up. I was doing radio in New York and Los Angeles. And inevitably, whenever somebody in the audience or one of the listeners found out I was Canadian, they'd always say the same thing. Oh, you Canadians, you're so nice. You're so polite. You're so laid back. But you know what? You can afford to be nice. You can afford to be laid back. You can afford to be polite because we here in the States are doing all of the heavy lifting. Wow, I'd say, really? I'd say, yes, Canadians, we're nice. We're laid back. We're polite. But we get things done in our own way. All right, sure, you can get into Canada with a gun in your car, but God forbid you come through with a nectarine that doesn't have a label on it. Know what I'm talking about, people? Right? Well, see, we take some scary subjects. We talk about, we talk about politics. We talk about mammograms, but all of a sudden we add a little bit of humor, and suddenly we can handle the truth, which is why I always say, you know, when it comes to dealing with stress, humor is an incredible, incredible tool. Number 2, perseverance. Perseverance gives us passion. Passion gives us push when everybody else drops off when it comes to relieving stress. I was fortunate enough about 4 years ago to do a TED Talk for 400 high school students in Toronto. And you know, they can be so jaded, right? High school students. I'd say, please, please, whatever you do, do not be jaded. Don't get too jaded. Look at the gifts that humor can give to you throughout your life. I said, humor gave me so many gifts. Humor gave me very funny parents. My dad was from Holland. My mom was from Guyana. In fact, I'm actually half Dutch, 1/4 Asian, 1/8 black, and 1/8 vodka. It's a perfect combination. But my parents grew up in some really unfunny times. My dad grew up during the Second World War. His house, his neighborhood got bombed, you know, so many times, and it's just a miracle that they survived. But he actually spent a lot of his childhood with his siblings, with his parents, with my Oma and Opa in the basement. They'd have kitchen pots over their heads because they were so worried that the house was going to be bombed. And throughout those scary times, my dad said that my Oma and my Opa would always be telling stories, would be telling jokes to the kids, trying to keep them distracted. You know, they'd be making fun of maybe a German soldier who'd just been banging on the door half an hour earlier, looking to see if they were hiding anybody in their attic, looking to see if they were hiding bicycles in their attic. And you know what they say about the Dutch? Wooden head, wooden shoes, wouldn't listen. My Oma and Opa were hiding bikes. They were hiding people in their attic. But they kept that humor. They kept the laughter. They kept the stories. And my dad developed that resilience through humor. My mom grew up in Guyana where there was and still is a lot of poverty. I always remember her telling us that her mother, my grandmother, never turned anybody away who came to the back door asking for food, even if she could only give them a cup of rice. And my mom constantly talked about how funny, how resilient her parents were. You know, they didn't have a lot of money, but they were always doing fun things. Right? And as a result, my mom grew up to be a very, very funny person. So resilience is incredible. Perseverance is incredible. Do not lose your sense of humor. All right, number 3, forgiveness. Forgiveness is huge. When we choose not to forgive a difficult client that we're dealing with, when we choose not to forgive somebody at home, we are firing off our adrenaline and our cortisol, thinking about having to deal with that person at work or at home, right? Then we're firing off our adrenaline and cortisol as we're dealing with them. And then afterwards, when we're thinking about what we should have said instead, the same time firing off our stress hormones. So I have a very quick exercise, a very quick hack when it comes to forgiveness. Can I get you all to please close your eyes? Can you please close your eyes? All right, and I would like you to put your 2 hands out in front of you, palms down. Please put your 2 hands out in front of you, palms down. Please keep your eyes closed because I'm going to be collecting some jewelry and walking around, so please keep your eyes closed. Okay, now I'd like you, with your eyes closed, with your 2 hands out in front of you, imagine somebody, okay? Everybody has somebody. When you think of that person, they fire off your stress levels, okay? What I'd like you to do is put your imaginary hands around their imaginary neck just for 3 seconds and squeeze. Squeeze, 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 just for 3 seconds. It's the 3-second rule. Nothing's going to happen. It's all imaginary. All right, okay, now open your eyes, let go, shake it out. Shake it out. Obviously, I'm totally kidding, but I just always use this as a visual cue because there's a wonderful quote from a book called The Shack. And the quote is, "Forgiveness is not about forgetting. Forgiveness is about letting go of the other person's neck." All right. So let go. Your health depends upon it. All right. The power of possible. I want to jump to number 7 for a second because you'll see why for a very obvious reason. Number 7, physical activity. If you have read this book, it's fantastic. I hope it's dog-eared. A wonderful book written by two physicians called Younger Next Year. And as we all know, right, sitting is like the new smoking, right? You can go to the gym, you can work out in the morning, and then you end up sitting behind a computer for 7-8 hours, and you almost undo everything that you did that morning. And they said, you know what, think about it more as circulation. And something easy, an easy hack that anybody can do is once every half an hour, they said, just move, just stand up, just stretch, just take a couple of steps. So can I get you, FedCap Canada, can I get you to stand up, please? As I've been chatting a little bit more than half an hour, if I can get you to please stand up. Okay, stand up. All right, perfect. Just gonna do a very easy stretch here. If I can just get you to put your hands above your head. Put your hands above your head, and can I get you to try and just bend over and touch your toes, okay? Give yourself some room there. You might hear some snap, crackle, and pop, so take it easy. All right, good. All right, good, excellent. A little bit of stretching, okay. Now I want you to put your hands back up in the air, okay. And can I get you to just lean over to this side? If anybody has lower back problems, this is great for your lower back. Pretend you're holding up a telephone pole. You've got one hand here, one hand on the top. Okay, so we're just gonna stretch. Okay, and then we're gonna come over to this side. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're just gonna stretch. Feel it in your lower back, feel it in your arm. Take your time. Okay, now come back up here, please. All right, fantastic. And bring your two hands down, and I want you to put your hands across your chest, okay? How many people saw Wonder Woman? How many people saw Wonder Woman? How many people saw Black Panther? How many people saw Black Panther? Okay, fantastic. Two great movies, but they both use a very similar pose, right? This is actually called the Wonder Woman pose. For women, if you do this pose and you look in the mirror, you do this 20 seconds for 8 weeks in a row, you can improve your confidence by 50%. Guys, you might actually grow some boobs. I'm not sure. All right, so I just want you to shake a little bit, okay? Just shake. I don't want to shake my podium here too much, but go ahead and shake. All right, just a little bit of circulation, okay? Good, fantastic. All right, a little bit of circulation. That's how athletic I am, folks. Don't. All right. Cat-like reflexes. Okay. Now, can I get you to put your hands above your head? Can I get you to put your hands above your head? All right. Now, we've got FIFA coming to Canada. Very cool. I don't know how many soccer fans we have, but I love a team a couple of years ago, Iceland. They had something called the thunderclap. Okay, the thunderclap. So basically what, and you might have seen the Toronto team do this, when I clap, you clap. When I clap, you clap. Okay, here we go. When I clap, you clap. You're fired. Get out. All right, when I clap, you clap. Here we go. When I clap, you clap. Here we go. All right, now let's try and do this as fast as we can, okay? Let's get some circulation. Here we go. All right, as fast as possible, fast as possible, fast as possible. Oh, thank you for the standing ovation. Please stay standing. I love that. Please stay standing. Please stay standing. Okay, one more quick circulation exercise. And as well, this is an exercise, we talk about change a little bit, okay? You'll see why in a second. If I can please get you to pair off. Pair off. One person in the group is going to be A. One person in the group is going to be B. Can I please get you still standing and just pairing off? One person in the group is going to be A. One person in the group is going to be B. And if we have 3 people in a group, that's okay. Okay. So we're talking about change. A and B. I would like you to stand back to back. A and B, I would like you to stand back to back, please. We are talking about either making big changes or making small changes. But if we do those incremental small changes over time, huge impact, okay? Talking about the power of possible. Okay, A. So A, I'd like you to put your hand up. A in the group, put your hand up, please. Decide who's going to be A. Okay, so A, I would like you to change change up to 3 things about yourself. We're talking about change. Just take off your name tag, or roll up a pant leg, or take off a shoe, or take off your glasses, roll up a sleeve, take off a sweater. Just keep it clean, okay? A, change up to 3 things about yourself. A, change up to 3 things about yourself. Okay? It's about stepping outside of our comfort zone. And when we're doing stuff like this, when we're being physical, we're activating our right, bright, creative side. Something that I saw recently, you guys have the goggles, the VR goggles that you're using. I think that's absolutely amazing. How someone can go into an Ontario Works office and they're afraid of talking to one of your service providers, and they can go through that virtual interview. Very cool. We're using our right, bright, creative side. That's awesome. Okay, so A, you have changed up to 3 things about yourself. Okay, B, I'd like you to turn around and tell A how many things they have changed. How many things can you spot in A? Okay, we've got some laughter happening. That's good. I hope you kept it clean. All right. B, how many B spotted 1 change in A? B, how many B spotted 1 change in A? How many B spotted 2 changes in A? How many B spotted 3 changes in A? How many B spotted 3 changes? Very good, very observant. We've got some observant Bs. Fantastic. Okay, that's good. But we're talking about change. What if I told you the exercise was actually for A? How many A's are changing their stuff back to the way it was before we did the exercise? Because that feels good. That's our comfort zone. We don't like change. It's scary. All right, give yourself a round of applause. Please have a seat. All right. We are talking about change. Your health depends on it. The power of possible. Frontline staff managers, service providers, workplace community partners. You guys are fantastic. You are fantastic. So the 7 ingredients for relieving work-related stress, they are as follows so far. Number 1, a positive attitude. A positive attitude includes humor. Number 2, perseverance. Perseverance gives us passion. Passion gives us push. Keeps us moving forward when everybody else drops off. Number 3, forgiveness. Letting go, forgiveness. It's not about forgetting. It's letting go of the other person's neck. All right? We jumped to healthy physical activity, the importance of healthy physical activity. That was number 7. Number 4, faith, as I said earlier, believing in something bigger. Right? Positive thoughts equal positive actions, equal a positive, purposeful life, equal a positive legacy, equal a positive destiny, equal the power of possible that we pass on to the next generation. Just believing in something bigger, contributing to something bigger. It is part of our caveman brain. We want to belong to the clan. That keeps us safe. Number 5, healthy mental activity. Never before have we felt so inundated with so much information, right? We feel burnt out, we feel fatigued, we feel stressed. So I'd like to share with you some quick hacks that I do with my Second City students, because as I said, they are stressed when they come to class and they go into that left logical side. And I need to pull them out of that left logical side. I need them to go to their right, bright, creative side. And I need them to stay on their right, bright, creative side, which overall is better for their healthy mental activity, their healthy physical activity. So a couple of things that I do with them. Right, bright, we talked about the right, bright, creative brain, whether it is storytelling, whether it is physical exercises, working together, doing a little bit of improv. But something that is a great takeaway that I have found successful with stand-up students, but as well as in organizations that I speak to, is meditation. I don't know how many people here meditate. Even if you've never meditated a day in your life, if you were to just start doing simple exercises and working up to meditating 40 minutes a day, within 8 weeks you improve your gray matter. You increase your gray matter, the factory that builds messages for the brain and for your body. Right? When we meditate, we fire off, it actually fights aging because we fire off an enzyme called telomerase. Telomerase repairs frayed DNA strands. So if you're suffering from frayed DNA, try the conditioner telomerase. You may have heard of an entrepreneur by the name of Tim Ferriss, has a wonderful podcast, written a number of books, including The 4-Hour Workweek. But he wrote a lesser-known book called Tools of Titans, and he talked to various people in his industry, fellow entrepreneurs, who he wanted to figure out what made them tick, and over 80% of them meditated. An insurance company in the States took 25% of their employees, put them into a wellness program that included meditation. Within 8 weeks, not only were they 1 hour overall more productive, statistically 1 hour more productive per week, but their healthcare costs were down by 7%. So the power of meditation is truly phenomenal. All right, so now you're asking, all right, what do you do with your stand-up students? Because they're all over the place, all right? Some very quick hacks, some easy meditation hacks, and again, there's hundreds and hundreds of meditation exercises that you can do, but here's a couple of quick ones that you can do in a pinch, okay? Can I just get you to close your eyes, please? Close your eyes. And just the power of taking a deep breath. Okay, just taking a deep breath. You don't have a lot of time. Inhale for 4 seconds. Can I get you to inhale for 4 seconds? 101, 102, 103, 104. Hold it for 4 seconds. 101, 102, 103, 104. And release for 4 seconds. 101, 102, 103, 104. Okay, close your eyes, keep your eyes closed. When you inhale this next breath, inhale 101, 102, 103, 104, and hold it. Let me ask you, where did that breath go? Did it go into your throat? Did it go into your chest? Did you get it all the way down to your diaphragm? All right, and exhale 101, 102, 103, 104. This next breath that you take in, how far down can you take it in? 101, inhale, 102, 103, 104. Hold it for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. And release for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. Okay, so breathing is a nice, quick hack, okay? Please keep your eyes closed. This next hack is also a breathing technique that I noticed the Calm app. This is used by Navy SEALs, it's used by CEOs. I noticed the Calm app uses something very similar. It's called square breathing. We are going to inhale for 4 seconds, we're going to hold it for 4 seconds, and then we're going to release for 4 seconds, and we're going to do this 4 times. This is why this is called square breathing. Okay, so when you have a little bit more time, square breathing is a great go-to, and you don't have to close your eyes, obviously if you're driving or working or whatever, all right? Okay, well maybe if you're working, okay, fine. All right, please keep your eyes closed. All right, here we go, breath number 1. Inhale for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. Hold it for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. And release for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. Breath number 2, inhale for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. Hold it for 4 seconds, 101, 102, 103, 104. and release for 4 seconds. 101, 102, 103, 104. Breath number 3, inhale for 4 seconds. 101, 102, 103, 104. Hold it for 4 seconds. 101, 102, 103, 104. And release for 4 seconds. 101, 102, 103, 104. Okay? I think we did 4 breaths there. I was meditating as well, so I forgot. All right, please open your eyes. Please open your eyes. All right, so when it comes to relieving work-related stress, number 1, a positive attitude. Positive attitude includes humor. Number 2, perseverance. Perseverance gives us passion. Passion gives us push when everybody else drops off. Number 3, forgiveness. Number 4, faith. Number 5, healthy mental activity. Do not go to the grip. Pull yourself back. If you're about to go into that grip, you've got a minute to react before you set off that cycle that takes a much longer time to recover from. So ask yourself, is it worth it? All right, and if you need to pull yourself back from the brink, take a nice breath, okay? All right, so that brings us to number 6, family and friends, the touchstones in our lives. All right, I have been blessed. I have an amazing family, but I have friends who are either estranged from their family, or they're the only surviving member of their family, or their family lives in another country. But I notice that those friends make their friends their family. Make their coworkers their family. Make their community their family. And I'm really lucky to say I have friends who consider me family. But then I also know people who don't even like people. But I notice those people make their pets their family. How many pet owners do we have? How many pet owners, right? You know, if you have a pet, you have a 5 times greater chance of surviving a heart attack. Because they know CPR. They're very intelligent. Cats and border collies, are you kidding me? No, of course, they fight loneliness. They give us a purpose, all those great things. They love us. In fact, I'm so passionate about pets, I have a little organization. We find homes for cats and dogs, and as a result, like I said, I'm very passionate. So before you leave this afternoon, everyone gets a free loot bag with a free kitten or puppy. How great is that? So family, friends, and pets. All right, which brings us again, circles back to number 7, healthy physical activity. I gave you guys a lot of information this afternoon. I know it seems a bit overwhelming, and you can reach out to me anytime on my website if you want, judycroon.com, sandyrinaldo.com. But also, as I said, when I'm dealing with my Second City students, getting them to trigger that right, bright, creative side. Storytelling is an amazing way to trigger our right, bright, creative side. So I would like to share one last story that wraps up sort of everything I talked about this afternoon, because everybody can remember a story. And you may have heard the story before, but it touches on the pillars that I talked about this afternoon, all right? Okay, so a farmer has a donkey, and the donkey falls down a well. Now, the farmer doesn't have the money to buy the big, expensive equipment to get the donkey out of the well, so he grabs a shovel and he starts throwing dirt on the donkey. And the villagers run to the edge of the well. They go, "What are you doing?" But all of a sudden, the most miraculous thing happens. The first shovel goes down the well, the donkey shakes it off, and he takes a step up onto the dirt. The next shovel of dirt that goes down the well, the donkey shakes it off and he takes a step up onto the dirt until eventually the donkey walks out of the well. Now, life is going to throw a lot of dirt on us. Life is going to throw a lot of challenges on us. But the key is to learn from those challenges and take a step up and remember the 5 laws to life. Free your heart from hatred, forgive. Free your mind from worry. Most of the things we worry about never happen. Practice gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. Give more. And finally, number 5, expect less. Now, do you know what happened to the donkey? When the donkey walked out of the well, he turned around and he bit the farmer. The farmer died from septic shock. The moral of the story, when you try to cover your ass, it comes back to bite you. FedCap Canada, you guys have been great. Shawnee, Shane, Narissa, Paulina, thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
One more time, everybody, Judy Croon. Does anybody have any questions? Judy is willing to stay for a few minutes. If you have any questions, this would be a great time to ask.
Phone number?
Yes.
Free your heart from hatred, forgive. Free your mind from worry. Most of the things we don't worry about. Most of the things we worry about don't happen. Practice gratitude, give more, and expect less. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Judy, I'm very serious. Where's my puppy?
I've got a little pit bull cross in my car. Talk to me after the show.
You promised.
Forgiveness, forgiveness.
Grant, get a hold of this crowd.
Anybody else? Judy, once again, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to, before we go to lunch, I think everybody who's ever been to one of these before, you know, I'd like to get a big photograph of everybody. So we'd like to assemble right here in the front. We're going to have some people direct us. Narissa's going to direct us where we have to stand. But if you can, come on up now so that we can get lined up. Judy, you can join us. We'll take a photo, and then we'll go to lunch afterwards.